By the end of May, even the kids who love to read can feel done. And that doesn't mean that reading has to disappear. It just means it needs to feel different. Hi, welcome to One Tired Teacher. This is episode 294. Reading in the classroom can still feel good right at the end of the school year. So here we are in May, and we're thinking, oh my goodness, how am I going to get kids to read and all for the rest of the year? And how am I going to get them excited about reading in the summer? Well, we'll find out today. Hope you stick around.
Welcome to One Tired Teacher. And even though she may need a nap, this teacher is ready to wake up and speak her truth about the trials and treasures of teaching. Here she is, wide awake. Wait, she's not asleep right now, is she? She is awake, right? Okay. From Trina Debery Teaching and Learning, your host, Trina Debery.
Hey, okay, so even in May, reading doesn't have to feel like one more thing. It can be the calmest part of your day. I know you're like, how is that possible? That's the beauty of reading. That's the beauty of finding the right book as well. So we know that students are tired, teachers are tired, reading stamina is low, and we are like, oh my goodness. So we have to shift the approach. Now, last week, I talked about my camp end of the year unit, which is a shift in structure, which is like having a system for the end of the year. And that's still a possibility, but we're talking specifically about the reading portion today and what we can do to like really continue the stamina, really to continue kids excited about reading, because the goal is we want them to feel that way in our classroom, but we want them to transfer it. We want them to read over the summer. We know if they don't do anything else, if they don't do our summer packets or all the things that we say they have to do over the summer, if they just read, and if they read for pleasure, it's going to matter so much as they continue into the next grade. Okay, so here are some things that we can do. We can give to them as a low pressure reading moment, because that's really the key, is we want to take some of that pressure off of them and help them to see reading as something joyful, as something they want to do, as something that maybe they reach for first, if only. So one of my favorite ways to get kids excited about reading are read alouds. It really is that simple. Read aloud, reading things with them, if it's a shared reading or an interactive read aloud, or just a read aloud for the joy of read aloud. When we share books with kids that excite them, motivate them, inspire them, intrigue them, we are sparking the flame. We are sparking the flame of a love of reading, and that is key. So I'm going to share a few camp read aloud books. So I'm going to stay in the camp theme, and so I'm going to share some camp read alouds that I think would be a really fun way to end this school year. One of my favorites is Bailey's Camp Out by Kevin Henkes. I love this little story about Bailey, who wants so badly to attend a camp out, and they kind of create one in his living room. So that can be really fun. This is another great idea if you are doing my camp end of the year unit and you've decided you wanted to go above and beyond, and you had kids bring in towels and they're like creating little tents under their desk. That's a really fun thing to do too, to read Bailey's Camp Out and then allow them to do that at their seats, and then maybe have some quiet reading time during that time, or maybe they're even reading more camp books under their desk. When kids get to read under their desks, it changes everything. It completely increases the stamina because they think it's fun. It feels fun. Another really cute one that I thought, this is a new to me one, so I haven't used it in my own classroom, but I thought it sounded really fun. An idea from the camp unit that I actually shared last week was making a faux campfire with paper towel holders and construction paper for the flames, and having them sit around and tell camp stories. Well, this one was perfect. I found this on Amazon. It's called Not So Scary Stories for Kids Around the Campfire. 20 lighthearted stories for campouts and cozy nights. And this is written by Moira Newton. I'm going to link to all these in the show notes as well. A Camping Spree with Mr. McGee. That is always a fun one, by Chris Van Dusen, who is, he's a fun author. So that's one that kids really like. This is a new to me one too, but I thought that it sounded so cool. It's called The Hike by Allison Farrell, and it's like going through this like nature hike, which is something that we often do when we're camping. And it is written for younger kids, but I think the images and the illustrations are so beautiful that they would also be touching for older children. And then The Camping Trip by Jennifer Mann looks like a fun book to read when you're going on a camp out, which happens to have the same title as the book that I wrote called The Camping Trip by Trina Debery, which I include in my camp end of the year unit. It's also included in my camping worksheets comprehension packet. So I also took some of the things that I did in my camp end of the year unit and created a new resource. This is one where you really don't need prep. You are printing the decodable reader, but I created a version where you just print it and fold. You don't have to cut and copy or cut and staple, which that was so hard for me to do. So let me just say, I had a really hard time with that, but I got it. And now it's just print, the two-sided, and fold, and you've got a little reader. And so that's a little bit of prep, but besides that, that's it. And so this is a no prep unit. It's 5 days of reading, and it does include that decodable reader. And that makes it a really, you can do a compare and contrast with my camping trip to The Camping Trip by Jennifer Mann. So it's got that decodable reader. It's got some comprehension questions that go with that. There's also the Reader's Theater from the end of the year camp unit. That is now included in my camping worksheet bundle. And I actually did a little bit of an upgrade to this camp version, to this Camp Reader's Theater. I put it in like a grid so it's easier for kids to know their part and know the things. So I need to put that in my end of the year camp too, so that it's in both places. There's a sequencing activity where they're taking 4 of the scenes from the camping trip and they're putting it in order. There's also a graphic organizer for sequencing. There's text-based comprehension questions for the Reader's Theater and for the story, The Camping Trip. There's also a camping bingo, which is really fun. And this is a great thing to do. This is just a reading version. So it will have things on there like, read a camp book, or read in your tent for 30 minutes, or whatever time period it is. And so that's a really fun thing to do. And the kids are trying to get bingo with that. So it gives you some time to get work done at work. There's also reading certificates for the end of the year in this camp, little camp reading unit, and they are editable. And so that is a really fun way to make your own. If you don't like the things that I have come up with, then you can change it. There's also a book recommendation page, which is camp themed, and a reading commercial template, which is so fun for students and it really engages them and gets them excited. Everything is designed to support reading comprehension, sequencing, and student response using real reading experience. And it's flexible and easy to use. It is perfect for the end of the year for reading activities. It's camp-themed literacy centers, small group reading, independent reading resource or response. It's perfect for summer school if you were doing a summer school camp theme. And why do teachers love this? Because it keeps kids engaged and it's fun at the end of the school year when we really are still trying to get kids to want to read. It builds real reading comprehension using meaningful texts. It combines structure and creativity without overwhelm, and it works in a variety of ways as a whole group, small group, centers, so on. Reading becomes about connection. It becomes about routine, and it becomes calm, which we really want at the end of the year. So I'm going to link to this unit below, but I'm also going to tell you, I forgot to tell you last week, that my May freebie, I did a repeat of my April freebie, which was the Camp Awards. And so the Camp Awards are also editable, and you can grab those for free. So I'm going to share them. I'm going to share them in the show notes, but you can also grab them. Let me see. I think it's Trina Debery teachingandlearning.com/Camp Awards, all one word, Camp Awards. So you can grab those as well. That makes it easy to remember. But if you are interested in the reading camp activities, then you will have 2 sets of Camp Awards. The reading packet has reading specific awards, and then the freebie that I'm giving you is like a variety of Camp Awards. So reading doesn't have to be heavy to still matter. All right, we're almost there. We're getting there. We're getting so much closer. You are just weeks away from hopefully having a restorative, restful summer. Until next time, sweet dreams and sleep tight.